Okay, so last year I spent a month and a half in the Philippines, where I met my fiance, and saw a lot of interesting things and tried a lot of new foods. And my favorite food I tried was called Kinilaw. And so when I got home, I needed to figure out how to make the stuff. I think I found a good recipe, made a few adaptations, and I think it came out pretty good. You can't get one of the main ingredients here, the tuba wine vinegar. You got to make substitutes. But most of everything else I've been able to find pretty well, and been able to make it. Shout out to my fiance Rossi. So the first thing is the choice of meat. Usually uses raw fish. I'm using here a yellowfin tuna, though it will vary according to what you can get, what you can find. I like tuna in it. I like swordfish steak. I would like to use herring, but it's hard to find raw herring around here. I specifically say that because the fish used where I was on the island of Mindanao had a texture and taste much like herring, though herring's from the North Sea, so obviously wasn't that. Alright, after chopping the fish up real small, you want to use a vinegar marinade. The fish is not cooked with heat, but it's used instead of vinegar and citrus marinade to chemically cook it. And for this step, I like to use an apple cider vinegar. It's got some flavor, and it'll give your fish a good vinegar bath. And let it sit in there for about a half an hour. Okay, the next thing standard to this recipe is onions and ginger chopped up really fine. And I tend to prefer these baby onions or scallions over the standard onions, so I'm going to use them instead. That's what I've been using, and I've had some good success with this recipe. what you add from here is kind of personal preference, and a regional mix. The people I was staying with, Rossi's family, tended to use cucumber, which from my research isn't actually one of the more popular ways to do this. Oh, I almost forgot. Cilantro. The recipe I found recommended cilantro. So I like to use about that much. Yeah, so anyway, they use cucumber. Rossi's family used cucumber. And I'm going to use a little bit of tomato because I really don't like cucumber. Alright, the next ingredient, which I actually have until now not been able to find, is calamansi juice. But today at the store, these tiny limes, they were there. So, I'm going to squeeze some of them. Alright, into the mix you use salt or soy sauce to taste. I'm just going to put a little bit in there. And sit and wait for the fish to be done. Okay, the next step I do here is to drain off the apple cider vinegar. Take the fish that's been soaked in the apple cider vinegar. So this may have to be soaked a little longer. Well, I'm going to go ahead and mix it. So anyway, pour that into a colander. At this point, put in my vegetable mix. And pour on the calamansi juice with the soy sauce in it. And then I add the vinegar that's going to be eaten with. I use either balsamic white or white wine vinegar. I'm going to put a little dab of each in there. A little balsamic white. A A little bit of white wine vinegar. Them away. And then add some coconut milk, because traditional vinegar is a tuba wine vinegar, which is from the coconut tree. It has a heavy coconut flavor from it. And I remember drinking that coconut wine. That was quite an experience. But you're not going to get that coconut flavor without adding some sort of coconut flavoring. And I like the light coconut milk for this better than the regular stuff. It's more liquidy. Alright, that will probably be about the right mix. Stir this all together. I have a couple of more ingredients here which are not part of the traditional blend. But the vinegar, the onion, the salt, the ginger, that all adds up to some heavy flavors. And I like to add a few mild things into this. Give this a try. Tiny bit. Alright. Yeah. Very sour. And to complement that, I put a little bit of orange juice into it. Not traditional, but it goes with my taste in particular. And again, not traditional. I like to put in a tiny bit of caraway in it. There we are. I'll let that sit and soak for a little bit. See what we come up with flavor-wise. Now, I did not put much soy sauce into here. You could use salt as well. Do that to taste. But that is essentially as close as I can get to real Kinilaw here in the United States. Alright, one more thing I almost forgot. Thai chili peppers. Now these things are very, very hot. So I'm going to put one in there. And let that soak for a little while.